And then obviously I'll have to edit this and start it, but that's fine.
So this is where we're
Not right now. Okay, so if you guys would just tell us your names and what class you are here at UWG. Start with E.
Alyssa Hyde, I'm a junior.
Jacob Hyde, I am a junior.
Elizabeth Chapman, junior.
Blake Kitchen, sophomore.
Lindsay Armour, senior.
Milton Bennett, senior.
Brittany Rampley, senior.
Wes Rampley, senior.
And I'm Emily Newborn, and I'm junior, and I'm going to be the moderator. And the first question I have for you guys is, do you guys, when you get your books for the semester, do you rent as opposed to buy, or how do you figure out whether you're going to rent or buy your books?
The price.
The price of it?
Depending if I need it for a long period of time, I'll probably buy it, but mostly rent. It's what I do.
Do you ever feel like buying from the bookstore that you're kind of losing your money as
Yep.
opposed?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I usually rent my books offline somewhere or purchase them offline versus the bookstore for that reason.
Check.
If you can
Yeah,
figure out if
definitely.
you can sell the books back on eBay and get a reasonable amount back, that's a better price than actually renting, then that's always an option too.
So as far as preference, it just kind of depends on price and other things. How many textbooks do you acquire, whether it's rent or buy, a semester? Like, depending on your classes, do some classes you consider it not like an optional thing to have a book, or do you always try to have a book?
I usually get about 8 books a semester.
Yeah. I usually get a book for all my classes. Do I actually use them for all classes? Probably not.
I try not to at the beginning, but then I end up buying them all. Because there's always that one time they're like, oh, you have to read this out of the book, so I have to buy the book.
If it were cheaper, if there was a cheaper way to get your textbooks, would you allow yourself to buy them more often than to rent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Even though you have to deal with the whole finding space for them in your place and
Yeah.
all
I
that.
hate the loose things. Hate.
Yeah.
I just-
Because
Oh, those are awful.
you pay the same price for it, but you
You
don't
don't
get
get
a
a cover.
hardback cover. So it just goes everywhere.
Yep. And they end up
Yeah.
tearing halfway
Yeah.
through the
Yeah, I
semester.
hate them
So
so
bad.
bad.
For those of you that rent textbooks, do you rent them online or in the store? Do you prefer one over the other, or what's your preference?
I prefer hard book, but I go with whatever's cheaper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
I usually rent online because it usually gets there. I mean, it usually doesn't take long to get to me, and it's usually cheaper than renting from the bookstore still. Unless only once or twice have I needed it immediately and had to get it.
Blake, you brought up a good point. As far as renting online, not having the physical textbook, do you guys have a preference over physical as opposed to an online textbook?
Physical.
I'd rather have a physical.
It's much easier to skim the pages
Yes.
when you got an actual
And
textbook.
it
That's
doesn't
so
hurt your
surprising because I
eyes.
feel like everyone thinks our generation wants that computerized everything.
And then you can have like 8 books laying out when your tablet or device can only fit, I think,
One
2
screen.
for double screen if you're pulling up Windows. But, I mean, you can pull out 8 books and have them on all completely different pages.
It's better to do research if they're physical.
Yeah. A lot
And it
easier.
doesn't give you a headache.
Only good thing about online is that if you have a search engine and just type it in, if you're that cheater, I guess you could say that you could just type it in and search for what you were searching for.
Yeah, that's the only thing I like about digital books is that I can search, like if I'm looking for a specific keyword to use in my paragraph or whatever, I have a Nook so I can search for that one word and it'll bring up all these different instances that have this one word in it. So it's easier to locate different topics in the book and whatnot. That's what I like about online. If it's like a novel or something, I'll buy it on my Nook, but if it's a textbook, I'll probably buy it hard copy.
I like a book too because the words just seem a lot different. You can recognize each individual page as you go through it. So if you're trying to find a place, you can just flip open the book. Oh, it wasn't in that section yet because you can tell by the way the words are aligned on the page. It's a little bit easier to divide and put tabs in and flip from one page to the next instead of having to, go through the online book manually.
Could you guys relate to the visual aspect of counting your pages and knowing you have this much of a chapter to read and knowing how far into that chapter until you're done? Does
Yes.
anybody else do that?
Yes.
As long as I'm not the only one, because I will count those pages and I will mark them and see how far I'm getting into it.
And then you get to that section that's like not a part of the book, and you're like,
Skip.
oh yeah, skip.
Exactly. How many of you guys, are y'all mostly commuters, online? I mean, not online, on campus?
Commuter.
So even though an online textbook would keep you from having to tote the textbooks on campus and lug them around all day, you would still rather have the physical book?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just keep all of them like in my car and just like switch.
That's what I did. That's what I
I
did.
might need it at home, I
12
just take it out of my
bags,
car.
Yeah.
Brittany has a plan, guys. Take notes.
I actually have 2 different packs. One for Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, and one
Me
for
too.
Tuesday,
Me
Thursday.
too. I have a Monday, Wednesday book bag and a Tuesday, Thursday.
Yep, so you know which one to pick up.
It's really bad when you leave the house with the wrong one though.
That's why you
They
leave them
stay
in
in
your
my
car.
I got lucky with not counting one class because I got the physical book I bought, and then they gave me the online textbook free.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I left the
class.
physical book at home and took the online textbook on my computer.
That's smart. I think that's actually happened to me once, that Applia Access or however you say
Yeah.
it, Applia or whatever. As far as, I forgot that question. I guess I'll move on to this one. If you were able to easily, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Courseden, I don't know if you guys know, but they have a resources thing where you can actually sell books to other students. It's not very well advertised, and most people don't know it's there. Yeah, and it's hard to read the threads and figure out if it's still available or if it's not. Do you guys, have y'all been on that? Have you looked at
I
it?
never heard
I didn't
of
even know it existed.
Exactly.
Well, I can
I've
show
been
y'all
on it.
after
It's
this if you
terrible.
wanted me to.
It's absolutely
So,
terrible.
is there a set price to sell the book? Or?
No, it's just the students sell it at what they think's fair, and you buy it at what you think's fair. You can negotiate if they take negotiations. I've actually sold one of my books, and I think they, for a loose leaf book, because you can't sell
You
those
can't
back
sell
to the
textbooks.
bookstore. They don't take them. But if you give them to somebody in a binder, especially if you include notes and stuff, you can charge them $30, $35, and you paid for half your book by the time you sold it,
Mhm.
type of thing.
Especially if you got notes.
Yeah.
So none
People
of you
take
guys knew about
No, I didn't
No.
think
at
about
all?
Wow.
Wow, okay. If you were able to easily being the keyword, to coordinate with other students to purchase their used books at a cheaper price in the bookstore, obviously, would you go through the extra step of meeting with a prospective student and making the purchase?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You would, so
Mhm.
Yeah, especially if you can search the book.
so you would
I like
rather
the
do that?
negotiation aspect of it.
I even drive my car across town
I'll
to go
barter
get this
with
book.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go all the way to Villa Rica even to grab this book from this person.
So you would
Yeah.
rather do that than
Purchase from
just
the
have it
bookstore?
shipped straight to you,
I'm
kind of
doing
thing?
Well, yeah,
I feel like
it's
you're
cheaper. But
And you're
yeah.
helping that person too. Like they're selling the book for a reason. One, they don't need it, and probably two, they need the money. So like I'd much rather buy it from someone else because you're helping them rather than the bookstore or another agency or whatever.
Mhm.
Because it's just them making profit, but this other person you're helping them and they're helping you. So
It's a community of college students, one helping another.
Yep. And I'm sure you guys have noticed that when you sell a book back to the bookstore and they pay you for it, it's like 1/5 of the price they
Yes.
sell it for.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
making a huge profit off students, and it's not there to help us. They send out all these mail things and little flyers saying, you know, you get this much off, and we'll even
It's all
order them
that.
early.
It's not.
Really just turns out to be that they're making a profit for students that are just wanting it to be easy. Like
Mhm.
just
I
go
think
pick
I-
them up and off to work.
I think I probably purchased like a total of 3 books from the bookstore.
And those
All
are
for,
yeah.
yeah.
And I purchased them because they had to be West Georgia specific.
Yeah, like
Which
the,
has
because the
no
professor- or
Yes.
because the professor here wrote it and it's only in our bookstore, or
Yeah.
it was like first semester of college and I didn't know that I could use other resources, like that I could use Chegg or eBay or Amazon, and that it would be so much quicker.
Because I
and
only had
cheaper.
one issue. I ordered something off of Amazon and it was the cover of the book when I ordered it, but when I received it, it was not the book at all.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Amazon ships it to you for free.
Yeah. And
I
then,
mean-
yeah.
And Chegg will pay for shipping back.
Oh yeah.
They
That
give you
Amazon
everything.
did.
But that's a good point. Freshmen kind of fall victim to a lot of that because they don't have the resources to.
well, they're not allowed to tell them either. Like the orientation leaders, they're not allowed to tell them about anything else.
Yeah.
No,
They
but
have
I
to
am.
refer them to the bookstore.
And freshmen are usually friends with freshmen, because a
Right.
lot of them
Unless
from
they
out
have
of
an
town.
older sibling, like my sister's about to start school, like,
So is
I
mine.
didn't know when I went into college, but she'll know, like, not to buy anything from her bookstore.
Yeah.
When
My
I,
freshman year.
Same thing with my little brother and all his friends. I've told them, don't buy anything from the bookstore, get them all offline. They've told all of their friends. So I think this year might be a little bit short for the bookstore.
Depends on how many friends I got.
There's 20 of them,
Yeah.
all coming at once.
and honestly, if more people felt this way, I feel like the bookstore would make an effort to make it easier for students and cheaper for students while they could still make a profit. Do you got-
I don't think they will.
I don't
I
think
think
they
they
would.
mostly make their money.
Oh, no,
off
I don't
freshmen.
think it would definitely,
Yeah.
wouldn't be an easy decision by any
I
means,
think-
but if they stop making profit,
I
eventually
think
they
a
would
lot
have to.
of, like you're saying, mostly freshmen, but also like I have like adults who are coming back to college, like in my classes, and like they're mostly the ones. Whereas like we're all like open mostly to like wait a couple days like into the class to see is this really mandatory before I have to purchase it,
They buy it.
and they buy it like
Instantaneous.
a month before when they find out they need it, and they're the ones who spent like $400 on brand new books from the bookstore, and then they can't like. There's always gonna be a group of people who are gonna buy them at that price. The bookstore is never gonna like work with us who are like no.
No, because they want the money.
Yeah.
But I think if they were able to maybe get
There's always gonna be
a
some-
partnership with Chegg or something, or so that you can start telling students, hey, you can order this off of Chegg, and Chegg, give them a little bit of the price per book, or who knows? Maybe they can work with work with them that way, and get a profit that way somehow.
Speaking of Chegg, I remember the first time I ever heard of it. I think someone mentioned it at work at the campus center, and I immediately was like, "This is a scam. They're
That's
gonna
what I
take my
thought.
money and never send me my book." That kind of thing. Does anyone kind of feel that way with some rental sites? You have to be really careful as to.
I thought I bought a book on Chegg. Yeah, I actually rented it.
odd.
I didn't realize until I got it. I was like, oh, I gotta send this thing back.
I was really scared at first and skeptical whenever buying my books online. I still am, like, most of the time. I mostly buy all my books from Barnes & Noble now, because at least I know them. And I hear about new sites all the time, but I'm always hesitant to try them.
I like to hear what other students are on campus, before I end up going to a site. So I'll usually talk to about 10 people on campus. Say, hey, you've used this site, and if I can find 10 people that have used it and they have good reviews on the site, then I'll use the site. So that's how it works for me.
One thing I don't like about online is you don't know the quality of the book you're getting.
Yeah.
Like my accounting 2 book, I think it was, or accounting 1, I don't remember. But I thought it was going to be, in pretty good shape because they were renting it back out. But when I got it, it was like just grungy looking, and luckily it had the pages left in it. So that's the one thing I don't like about online renting or buying.
That's actually a good point, because the book I had this semester, I realized while I was taking a test that there was a whole page missing, and it was like 3 questions on the test that was on that page. So as far as like seeing the book before you buy it, that's a huge advantage over.
Still
So,
cheaper than the bookstore.
so if you still met with another student to buy that book, you would
You
feel
get
more
to-
comfortable with it
Because
because you
even-
can see it.
Even
Yeah.
the bookstore, you can't look through the pages. It has to be like still in the package. So.
And so if
Well,
it
if
came
you're
from the
not reading.
manufacturer, wrong, then
Yeah.
you don't know either.
I think it's dumb that if you take off the plastic, you can't return it.
I agree.
They should at least take back as like a used.
It's like it's saran wrap. You can rewrap it.
Like we wrap it at home. Use
Yeah.
blow dryer and
Yeah, just melt it on there.
Yeah.
and glue the sticker back on.
As far as personal references go, do you guys trust those when it comes to sites? Because like I said, I heard personally about Chegg and I was skeptical automatically.
I have to really, do some research before I go to a site, because you really never know.
I don't go to a site that I haven't heard of before.
Right.
I
But
have to
Chegg,
like know less about.
Chegg kind of made it a little easier because they give you like little samples of stuff now. So now it's like, okay, it's a real business, thing. So they trust you, so might as well trust them, I guess.
And it also pops up under the advertise thing, like usually when you type in on Google and the things that are like actually being paid to advertise, usually they're, okay to buy from. They're not just like one of the 10th page things that
Yeah.
nobody goes to. It's actually advertised, so they're putting out money, so obviously they have a large clientele.
I know of a lot of people that go to Dorks instead of the bookstore.
Is that cheaper?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do the same thing, they buy it from students, because the bookstore's missing out now, because there's other businesses
Yeah, and
buying
because
from
they were
students and
closed
selling them cheaper.
like the entire week before these summer classes even started, so
Yep.
they lost a lot of business that
Yeah,
by
they
doing
did.
inventory.
They didn't even have my book, so
That's another
Yeah, they
there
problem.
was
don't
literally
have a lot
8
of
copies of Accounting 2 that the bookstore had for the whole, Accounting 2 summer semester.
Wow.
Yeah, and they end up a lot of times just completely forgetting to buy.
And I'm tired of paying $400 for one
Yeah.
textbook, accounting.
They just completely forget classes, and some books don't even get ordered.
They drop the ball a lot. They're not reliable.
You mentioned Chegg's website. Have you guys ever used Chegg's app on your phone?
Yes.
You have? Do you like the app?
I don't like any app on the iPhone.
Cause it's not, cause you can actually, the app, gives you an opportunity to buy books, and then also that you can read your own book. Like, so say for instance, you get the hard copy, ask for the hard copy, they'll give you that ebook for like a week or so.
Yeah, like 14
Yeah.
or something like
And
that.
then you can read it and stuff, and I read sometimes on my phone, if I'm like at work or something like that, don't tell Greg. But yeah, I study on that sometimes, so that's the only reason why I like it, because they have that feature on it.
I don't like reading. I'm against any electronic reading of books.
Now, you said you don't like any app on the iPhone. Would you like an app on the iPhone if you were able to say how it was designed? Is there anything specific you look for in an app that would make you want to use it on an iPhone?
If I was making it, yeah.
But what would you suggest?
As
Just
user-friendly as
something.
possible, really. A lot of apps are really confusing to work. And so I think as simplistic and user-friendly as possible would be the best way to go.
So not Fusion.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
What about you guys when y'all are using apps from any website? What do you find in that app that makes it easy, whether it be Facebook or do you want it to be easy to use while driving?
Facebook's
Like, I just need to know.
You can look at it any time. You don't have to have a Wi-Fi, or you don't have to have a computer. Like, if you want to look at Facebook, you can look at Facebook driving down the road if you want to. Like, it's always accessible, I guess you can say. It's at the tip of your fingers. If you want to know your checking account, you can look like that. So.
Because I know you guys have experienced a bad app at some point or another. Because I look at the app stores and the reviews, and some people just, this was horrible, I deleted it as soon as I added it, this kind of thing.
I do a lot of research on apps before I even download them.
Yeah, the West Georgia app for the buses was horrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
The West Georgia
They
app
updated
is
it.
They did?
not
It's a little bit better, but it's still not
Still
accurate.
Okay.
I thought the West Georgia app was going to be like something really cool. Like when I first got it,
It's not
it's
even
literally
that.
all it's got is like a map and a directory. And
It's
it's
not.
like,
I thought it was gonna be like
It's
show you
not.
where you were on campus.
And then have
It doesn't.
really cool push
Access to
notifications for
courses.
events and stuff, and you can create events.
Yeah, no.
Other students can join, and
that would cost too much money to produce. They
mean,
got
Okay,
money
we're never
into
gonna
it.
get it.
no, it doesn't take money to produce.
expect you to
just
go
open up
upstairs
the
and be
software
ready.
to where you can have a section where students can create events. I mean, it doesn't cost any more money.
So we've covered the simplistic thing and making it worthwhile to even looking at. As far as an app goes, do you guys look at what's visually appealing? Would you rather it be more white background, or would you like it to be Facebook? Maybe you could customize it, or do you guys like apps? Is that too difficult for you guys?
I
as
feel like
far
if it's helpful, it doesn't matter what it looks like.
Exactly.
Because you can take, for example, Facebook or Twitter, their background is just straight white. So, I mean, as long as you're quoting something, like looking for your friends, it really doesn't matter what the background looks like, as long as the
As
stuff
long as
that,
it works.
yeah,
Yeah, as long as it's
works.
user friendly.
Yeah.
No one really cares, in all honesty.
Simple titles that bring you to the places that you need to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the biggest
Don't
thing
make it
when
hard for
it
them to
comes
get
to like websites and apps, is that if you can click on something and it lists the things that you're thinking of that should be under that column, then that's, basically I guess what we're trying to say is user friendly. So 1 or 2 clicks to where you want to go is no more than 2, and
Amazing.
then it should be there.
That'd be the perfect app to pull up.
It's interesting that y'all said that, because I was expecting you to say that you wanted it more customizable or more dynamic as far as the layout goes, but now that I'm thinking about MySpace was completely customizable, and everybody moved to Facebook, which is very whiteboard, very,
It
like
was
you
simple.
said, simple, you know where you're going, you know what to click to get there. MySpace, I can get on there today and not know what I'm doing.
It's very
I don't know how to get
And it
there.
takes forever to load because you have so much music and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff on your
Pictures.
backgrounds and stuff.
I don't even know if I can even get on my Facebook, my MySpace account anymore.
I don't think it'd be
Just
worth it
changing
to
your
you on
background on MySpace
It'd be interesting
was
to see
so
what
hard
happens.
because you had to like have codes and everything.
Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
yes.
You copy this code, put
Yes.
it here, and then save it, and then go,
You
and then
just
it
learn
won't
the
work.
code.
Oh yeah, I remember that when you went to
Well,
go
yeah,
make
have-
your
you
background
can
stuff,
background
you
zero
have to
zero
know the
zero
specific
six
color.
URL or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I actually seen MySpace commercial recently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
MySpace has
they're trying to
updated
make
all their
it
stuff,
thinking.
but they're not where
I wonder what it
it's
looks like now.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
it's
have
like
an app
background
now.
and
They're
see
more
what they
for
wrote in
bands
like
and
5th grade.
I got on like a while, like it was probably 8 months ago, just to, because I had like a picture of when I got hit with a baseball one time. And I wanted to get it and put it in my phone, and I got on, because luckily I've had the same password since then. And I was on there, and literally there was one person on my feed that still got on there. And she only got on there like every couple months and did something. And it was just like nobody that I know was on there
I
anymore.
don't even know what pictures are on them. That'd be interesting to go back and look at.
I just feel like a lot of, especially adults, they expect our generation to want the updated, flashy, blingy stuff, and you guys are telling me something completely different. You guys would
I
rather
feel like
have
it might
the
be
easy.
People
more of
judge
like
too
an age
quickly.
thing, like when you're in more adolescence, like middle school, early high school, like that might be more appealing, but like maybe we're all like just kind of past that. We just want it, like we just want it to be where we can access it and make it work.
Go with what's called old school, man.
I think there's a difference though between the appealing and user friendly, because we want things that are, I think we want things that are both. One thing, Facebook, we're talking about Facebook, there, I mean, it is simple, but it is appealing, it's easy to get to, you have all these lists of pictures up front with your news feed and stuff like that, so that's the appeal to it. Or, you look at other apps and it's just bright colors and things like that, but at the same time, it has to be,
Even something like Snapchat, it's really colorful, bright yellow, drives me up the wall. But it's simple and easy to use.
Well, it got a little complicated to me when it started this whole chat thing.
Yeah, that was
I'm
really
like,
I don't even use
I-
it now.
that was too much for me. I just don't even touch it.
I don't, yeah, I stopped using it when Jack came on.
As far as complicated, where do you guys kind of draw the line? When this is too complicated for me to even bother with, where do you guys draw that line?
If I can't open it up and know what to do, then next.
Is it the color yellow that turns you off? Or what is
No,
it?
it's
exactly?
like the,
And you have to
you
have
gotta
specific
slide left and you
knowledge.
gotta slide right, and they're gonna have two different things to it, and I don't even wanna mess with it. I mean, like when you slide on Facebook and you slide to the right and you can see all the people, your friends, nope, I'm not gonna ever do that. I don't wanna ever mess with it. You slide to the left and it's got everything else, nope, all I'm gonna do is look down through my news feed.
Jacob's
all
not
I'm gonna
very
do.
technical.
Jacob likes everything simple, easy, and user friendly.
I think
He doesn't like
I think the thing is that you see a lot with things that are user friendly are universal icons.
Yeah.
You see in everything, like if it's a phone or if it's a camera or something that is you see on any kind of social media, whether it be internet or your phone, and you can just click on it, and when you click on it, it's going to pull up a number, or it's going to start taking a picture. When you see that on iPhones, iPads, computers, and it's the same icon. So that's another thing.
It's like a little home icon.
Yeah, and no matter what the app is, it's the same kind of emblem that and it doesn't take you long to figure out what it is.
I feel like if there's a really long tutorial, it's too complicated.
Yeah.
If it's only like a 3-page, 4-page tutorial, then it's fine. Because it means like you can get the gist of it. But if the tutorial takes 5 minutes, it's just way too much.
So we've talked a lot about what we hate about apps and how much we don't like them and what we wish they would change. What are some things you do like and you absolutely love about an app that you use? Whether it be how simple it is or a specific feature that it has, because every app has a different feature. I don't know if you guys know, some of them have GPS, some of them like
Most of
they
them
just.
GPS now.
My favorite is the One Class app. You can add all your classes and everything to it. It'll send you push notifications of when homework's due, when you have tests.
I didn't know that existed.
I need that.
Just watch
You
You
can
want it?
prioritize each of your tasks. Like if you have assignments, you can prioritize like reading and this
You
is a
get like
test.
a high
and
priority. And
It's awesome.
I
It
never
really
saw
is.
it'll give you an alarm 2, 1, 30 minutes before, you know.
Just like a reminder.
So you like
Yeah.
reminders.
Yeah, you can click reminders, you know, this is 2 days in advance, this is a day in advance, and you can click on every single one of those reminders and remind you at every single time.
It'll give you your class schedule. It's pretty awesome.
You can put your professor's name in it, you can put the class it is, what semester, fall of
Their contact
2014.
information.
You can rate the professor on there, you can rate the book that was on there, you can, it's all kinds of
Wait, it's
stuff.
called One Class. Right?
It's called, hold on 1 second.
Now we're all downloading an app.
Have you guys ever used chat rooms?
In class.
Where you talk to more than a few people at once, and you just say you were negotiating
That's what it is.
prices for a
It's at the
book.
very bottom.
As far as talking amongst each other, is there anything in a chat room app that makes it easy to respond and know who you're responding to? Have you guys ever?
What it looks like my
Normally
text
do that.
messaging.
I use it on my online classes. I have online classes for like a year and a half now, and they have like chat rooms and then they have discussion boards, and you'll see the pictures of people's faces. So basically, well, okay, I know this person, I know that person. So it's kind of a little bit easier to. It's not face to face talking to each other, but it's like, okay, I know this person, so I know what to write.
So pictures help you,
Yes.
also the organization of, say, the board names and whatnot, like CourseDen, where you can go under a specific assignment, if you have a discussion board, you know exactly where you're going to, you know where to post, you know where it's going, you know who's gonna see it, so that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're completely changing up our schedules this year too. They're not gonna be that long, lengthy thing anymore. It's just gonna be like the class name, professor, and then that's it.
Location is very important.
Of course they'll put that, but they're not gonna put like
SOL.
English,
Not
you
for
know,
anymore.
21 whatever. It's just gonna have your English, and instead of just saying English that, it's gonna have the actual critical thinking, you know, boom, done. So, it's gonna be nice.
Well, I think that's pretty much all my specific questions. Is there anything else related to the previous stuff that you'd like to add as far as the app goes, or if we didn't discuss anything about buying or renting books that you'd like to add in? Anything else? Now's the time to kind of.
I think the idea of having an inter-student app where you buy and sell books to each other is a fantastic idea. And I think just about every student on campus would download and use that app.
I agree.
I think it's like there's a group on Facebook for this area that
Like
students
West
can.
Georgia Classified or whatever.
Yeah, that students can sell books, but the only problem with it is that once it's sold, it's still there. I feel like you should be able to like take it off, and it's just like the only problem with it is that there's confusion whether it's still available or not. You have to like go down and read all the comments and then message them, and even if it's not in the comments, they like private message them, and you have to see if it's still available before. Like you can't just look at it and see, oh, that's still available. You know what I mean? So it's a little confusing, but the concept of it is really good.
Yes.
Alright, well, if that's all we have, that's all we have. Thank you guys for coming and participating.
You're
It was
welcome.
fun, right? It wasn't like pulling teeth or anything.
Were you looking at me?
You're just at the end.
You got the app?
Got it.
Okay.
Definitely got that.
It's a nice app.
And we can just go right next door to the other room and we can have pizza.
Pizza.
We almost had a 30-minute discussion, guys.
Hey, that's what happens when you put a philosophy major in
Sorry,
your
let me get behind you here.
I like to argue.